Well, Stomp is a rhythmic percussion show that is done with non-conventional instruments. It's a non-dialogue show as well. There's some visual comedy.
Grew out of busking, which is street performance for anyone who doesn't know that term. They did this on the street in Europe, and then it kind of slowly came together and became the PCC now.
We use a whole bunch of stuff. Pretty much anything that you can find in your house, and then some things that you just wouldn't find anywhere except here, which is pretty unique. It's pretty great. We have, obviously the brooms, which is one of the main things that Stomp is known for. Another thing that we use is almost the same size as the broomsticks as we use the poles. The poles are really neat. We get pretty much really only one sound out of the poles, but we use the hammer handles and we hold them backwards and we hit the pole, so we have the pole in our right hand and the hammer handle in our left hand. And it's that's a lot of fun too. So with the combination of the pole and the hammer handle and our feet stomping, it creates some pretty interesting sounds.
The training was the most grueling aspect of the show. Definitely, it's 10 to 5, 5 days a week. You're basically doing the show over and over again. You start out, they're breaking down the parts, breaking down each of the numbers and kind of the different rhythms that go along with it and the spacing. And so that can get pretty tiring and pretty grueling, but it kind of gets it solid in your head.
I always thought there had to be some kind of trick. There had to be some kind of gimmick because some of the stuff they were doing was just so intense and so close. If you're a foot off or an inch off even sometimes, you can really seriously hurt somebody. And when I finally made the show, I realized there is no catch, there is no gimmick. It's just extreme concentration. I mean, the trash can lids are pretty heavy. It's very tricky. You really need to be careful. You need to trust everybody and make sure that you're taking care of your responsibilities, because if not, with some of these props, you can really hurt. I've heard stories of broken fingers, broken wrists, broken legs, broken noses, broken heads. Anything that can be broken, I guess.
Because the show really depends on individual personalities as part of the ensemble, as the cast members change, the show changes. Once you know the structure of the show, once you know where you're supposed to be and when and what you're supposed to play, you have a lot of freedom to kind of let your own personality come through.
The great thing about the show is that you have a lot of room for improvisation. I would say about 75% of the show is written, and you have the rest to kind of have solos and put your own flavor, as we would say.
It exemplifies trying to make something out of nothing and trying to, in a way, entertain yourself to get through a boring work day. I mean, that's essentially what we're doing. Do you know what I mean? We're here and we're sweeping and we're at our job. But even when it's just like goofing around with your workmates, I mean, everyone can relate to it on some level.
The theatrical aspect, the performance aspect, the rhythmic aspect really appeals to anyone, from anywhere, of any age, of any background. People can really connect to it right away.